You know how to get in the trunk with the dead car battery? No. You know how to put the windows up and down from your key fob? No. You know how to turn the tachometer on? Well, no one ever showed me any of that stuff. Show me more. Watch this. People love to customize their phones and they love to customize their cars. They want to make this look like them. A Toyota or a Ford or a Subaru or a Mitsubishi? No way. I'm the HondaPro and now you're in the know. So again guys, I want this to be interactive. Questions you guys have about anything I go over or the system or any of the buttons or any of the switches or anything, just let me know. I'm here to help you guys out better understand the technology.
Good deal.
So this screen here is going to look very much like the Odyssey screen, right? Mm-hmm. With a couple of key differences. If you want to put something on the main screen, like someone wants their clock on the main screen, in the Odyssey, all you have to do is press and hold, and you drag it over, and you let it go. Watch what happens when I let this go. It disappears again. What you need to do is you actually need to make room for it now. So to make room for it, you take something like the trip computer, and you bring it down to hide, and you let it go. Now I've made room for that clock. I can easily take that clock, I can drag it over, and drop it wherever I want. Okay? Good. That makes it much easier for the customer that comes in. Maybe the older customer comes in and goes, you know what? This screen here, there's just too much stuff on it.
So you hide it.
It's true. You hide everything.
Hide it. Because you know what? Dodge, Chrysler, and Ford, and Chevy, and Mitsubishi, and Subaru, they all got these screens now with all this crap on it. I don't want all that. I want my navigation and my FM radio. That's it. No problem, sir. Watch this. There you go. Have a nice day. And you can do this on any of the pages with any of the apps. Now the question is where do they go? And how do you get them back? Right. So there's two answers to that. One, Honda says you can go to where it says add, and you can add them all back. Unfortunately, it doesn't show you the ones that you hit, it shows you all of them. So you know what? I don't remember which ones we hit. So to make it easier, there's something called reset. You press reset, in about 2 seconds it resets all your apps, all your tiles back. We have two USBs now, USB 1 and USB 2. What used to happen is I would plug my phone in, I listen to my music, right? And then my wife would plug her phone in to charge it. If we wanted to listen to her music, you know what we had to do? Switch the plugs. Not anymore. You plug one in here and one in the center. You can go back and forth between the two music devices, which means you can also do Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on either one, not just one anymore. So now you don't have to be like, oh, Apple CarPlay, you can only plug it in this port. No, plug it in any port you want. It works in all of them. AT&T hotspot, this is a big question with a lot of people. This AT&T hotspot, it's not Wi-Fi, it's 4G LTE. There is a big difference. Wi-Fi is simply a connection between two devices. Do you guys have a Best Buy where you can buy electronics out here? Yeah. You go to Best Buy and you can buy a Wi-Fi speaker. And you can control that speaker from your phone. You can control what you're listening to and the volume. You don't have the internet, you just have a connection between two devices. All of our cars have Wi-Fi. And this and the Odyssey are the only two right now that have 4G LTE, which means you actually have a connection to the internet. Press this button. Honda gives you a dealer demo mode. Should light up in yellow right here, dealer demo mode. There it is. There's a power button that's hidden. You press that button once. That button turns on, it'll turn green. There it is. Now it's activated. Now we have a connection to the internet. So anyone in this car with a tablet, you don't need any cellular reception. You can put in that SSID, which is, you find that in your Wi-Fi connection, and then your password. You connect to this via Wi-Fi, and then you have the internet anywhere you want to go. So you have kids, you're demoing your car, and you have an adult and two kids. The kids are inside in your Wi-Fi. They're playing games. You're like, you know what, it's time for the test drive. Kids go, wait a second, I'm in the middle of the game. I'm going to lose my internet. No, you're not. We have internet in the car. And you jump them in the car, and you turn on the internet for them. This is free for you guys to show until they buy the car. Once they buy the car, they get 3 months free, just like XM Radio. After that, there is a charge. It's $25 a month for unlimited use. And it doesn't matter what cellular carrier you have. Even though it says AT&T, who do you use for a cell phone? Verizon. It's $25 unlimited use. Cameraman, who do you have for a cell phone?
AT&T.
AT&T, $25 for unlimited use.
Prepaid.
$25 unlimited use.
AT&T.
$25 unlimited use. Let's say I don't even have a cell phone. Let's say I don't have a cell phone. I'm a grandma or a grandpa. I don't have a cell phone, but I have grandkids. How much is it for me?
$25.
$25 unlimited use. It's the same for everybody. So that's how that works. You guys familiar with what this is? This little squiggle mark here?
So that's like the tap to connect, right?
It is, but do you know what phones it works with? Android phones. It only works with Android phones. It only works with Android phones. So if somebody has an Apple phone, an Apple iPhone, and they're like, hey, what is that? Do you have an Android phone? No, it's only for Android phones right now. Okay. Otherwise, if you do have an Android phone, basically you can set up your Bluetooth very quickly, and you can take photos from here and put them on the main system very quickly. Two things you can do very easily. Can you guys all see where this says door open?
Yeah.
Speedometer. Can you guys see that okay from where you are? You want me to move this, or are you okay?
That's good.
Okay. So where the speedometer is, this is all actual speedometer, and those numbers are printed on the circuit board. But from here left, this is all digital, which means by pressing the home button, you can scroll through and change whatever you want to look at. So you have a tachometer, go down, you can see a range of fuel, speed, and time. All I'm doing is scrolling down with my finger on this roller and then pressing in. When you guys get down to navigation, there's actually sub-menus. When you roll up and down, you can get to recent destinations, calculation mode, save places, same as you could on this screen, but you just don't have to take your hands off the steering wheel or your eyes off the road. It's much more convenient this way. Now there is a lot of information on here. So much that, same as this, customer might not need all this stuff. So there's a way to hide these as well. All you have to do is go to the settings screen, go where it says system and configuration of instrument panel. Here you can easily uncheck the things you don't want. So I'm going to uncheck a couple here for you so you can see what it looks like. And now with that unchecked, this screen becomes much shorter. Only the things I want on there. I shouldn't have to scroll through things I don't want. This will be the same screen in the new Insight. In fact, this and this will almost look identical to the new Insight. So once you understand this, you understand that one as well. And moving forward, most of them are going to get these roller bars because it's just much easier for the customer. Now, did you guys notice that when I went to the tachometer, it's a beautiful tachometer that mimics the speedometer, right? It looks just like the speedometer, but when I go to anything else, like navigation, there's a compass. Where's my tachometer? It's gone. So you'd think that the only way to get the tachometer on is to go to the tachometer setting and leave it there. But there's a secret way on how to turn the tachometer on behind all screens. And this is how you do it. You go to settings, you go to vehicle, it'll say meter setup. If you scroll down, you'll find tachometer. It's off as a default. So Honda turned the tachometer off. If you turn it on and you press save, watch what's going to happen. That tachometer is going to show up behind everything. So there's your navigation. There's your tach and your navigation. A lot of people want that. So now the tachometer is on behind everything, right? So does tachometer have to be the first thing we see, and do we have to scroll by it every time we get in the car? No, why? It's on all the time. So let's go back here to settings, system, configuration of instrument panel, and right up here it says reorder. I'm going to take that tachometer, I'm going to bury it all the way in the bottom. I don't need that anymore. It's on all the time. So there it is on the bottom. But what I do use all the time is navigation. So I'm going to take my navigation, slide it all the way up to the top. Press done, I'm going to press save. And now when I start up the car, the first thing I see is navigation. The last thing I see, which I never need, is tachometer, because it's on all the time. So I jump in the car and go right to my Navi without having to scroll down the whole time. So this is totally customizable along with this. If I looked at all your phones, I guarantee your phone wouldn't look like this. They're all completely different. People love to customize their phones and they love to customize their cars. They want to make this look like them. They want their information on there, and that's what Honda allows you and other manufacturers don't. Let's take a break here and go back to some of these hard buttons. You guys all have seen how these turn red and turn blue as you turn them. As you turn them, you see them turn red and turn blue. It shows you if you're going hotter or colder. Just a little something to make it look kind of cool. Have you ever listened to these? They have a really nice clicking sound, much like a very high-end car, so you know you're turning them. They also have little marks in there so you can grab them with your hands even if they're sweaty. Even if you have gloves on, you can grab these, you're not worrying about your hands slipping off of there. These seats, I should have turned these on before for you. They're ventilated and heated. These seats are not air conditioned. They are not air conditioned seats. The difference between ventilated seats and air conditioned seats. Ventilated seats, the air gets sucked into the seat. air conditioned seats, the air gets blown out of the seats. So you can take this plastic off of there like that. Take this plastic, you put it on the seat like this. Because it's ventilated and air sucking in, it's sucking that piece of plastic in. If I turn this off, there's not too much static on there. Come on, baby. There it goes. Falls right down, right? Air gets sucked in. These are also on a timer. I'm sorry, on a memory. So you have 3 cold there, 3 hot there. Can you turn your heated seat on real quick for me?
Sure.
And 3 hot in the back. Now watch what happens when I shut the car off. This is still gonna be hot, that's still gonna be cold, that's gonna be off. So if someone jumps out of the back seats, you have to reach back there and turn it off again. Honda's thought about all that stuff already, right? So this wireless charger works for almost all Androids, Apple 8 and Apple X only, because it has to have wireless charging. So there's a power button right there that's green. When it's green, you can take your phone, you can gently set it inside, that'll turn amber. When it turns amber, it's charging.
You turn face down or face up?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. With the case or without a case, it doesn't matter. It'll charge. As long as the case isn't like a brick, even the thicker outer boxes, it still works. When you're charging it, there's some heat being generated. Feel that? You're gonna melt chocolate. You could get a coin really warm. There is a slight risk of something bad happening if you had a coin that got too hot by the phone that got too hot. So if you're gonna use that, just like you said, what you wanna do is you wanna press and hold this power button. It'll turn off, and then you can store whatever you want in there. Most manufacturers do not give you an on-off button for the wireless charger. They say, why would you want to shut it off? Just charge your phone in there. Well, if you put your phone in there and other things, it could cause a problem. So Honda gives you an on-off button right there. You simply press and hold. It turns it on and turns it off. Are you guys familiar? You veterans should know what shift lock release is. It's that little tab that in case you lose power in the car, you're able to pop the tab off, put a key in there, and release the shift lock so you can put it in neutral. Do you know where the shift lock release is in this car? Not many people do, so I'd be surprised if you knew. So the shift lock release in this car is located right inside here. There's a little tab I'm going to remove. There's the tab. It's right in the inside of that. And what happens is if the car is off, this car is obviously not going to go into neutral. You take a key or a screwdriver, doesn't matter what it is, you release it, a little spring there. You can put the car into neutral, and then you can push or pull the car if you need to. This shift lock release cap is going to be on the electronic version also, but there is no release on that one. So even though there's a cap, there's nothing behind it. It's just made for manufacturing. Econ and Sport. You guys are all familiar with what Econ does, right? It saves you gas. It takes a little throttle response away, slows down the car a little bit. It takes some of your AC and heating function, your pressure away. That's it. You can hear it in this car if you listen closely. The door's open, but you can probably still hear it. Listen. That's all it does. Yeah. And that little bit gives you a little bit better gas mileage. Sport. Sport is going to do a lot in this vehicle. There's a lot of cars that have a sport button. It does little to nothing. This one here will first change the gauges, giving you a sportier gauge with red accents. It'll tighten up the steering. It'll tighten up the throttle response. It'll be more responsive. It'll shift at a higher RPM. It'll tighten up the suspension. And the last thing it does is it pumps in some nice fake audio for the exhaust sound. So it sounds louder. Not my biggest thing, but it works. The big thing is the suspension. It really tightens the suspension up. Because it's an electronic suspension in this car, which means over different areas of road, it'll tighten up or loosen up. When you press the sport button, it tightens up all the time. So you really get that sporty feel. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you guys something you might think you understand, but you might not. The electronic parking brake. Are you guys familiar with how this works? You all probably do, right? So if the parking brake is on and you want to release the parking brake, do you know how to release it? Put your foot on the brake and push it down. You know you don't have to do that? You don't have to push your foot on the brake and push it down. Parking brake's on, right? I put the car in drive. Watch what happens. All I have to do is tap the gas, it automatically releases. Let me show you again. Parking brake's on. Put the car in reverse. All I do is gently tap the gas and automatically releases. Do you know why? My seatbelt's on. Okay. Your seatbelt's on, the car's in drive, parking brake's on, the car knows you want to go forward, you're safe. Why should you have to release it automatically or manually? It automatically does it. Smart, feature. Right? That's good. That's good. This feature is on every single Honda with electronic parking brake. Even in manual shifts, which is where people are going to use it all the time. Seatbelt on, drive away. Most of us don't put our belt on before we put it in gear. We put it on when we get to the end of the driveway, the first stop sign for me before I hit the highway. I'm like, oh yeah, my belt. It won't work. So it's training us to put our belt on immediately so we're safe before we even roll forward. Smart, right? How do you guys turn on the parking brake? Pull it back, right? Pull it up. You guys know you don't have to do that either? There's a way to set it so it automatically sets itself. Let me show you this. The way to set it is you pull back on the parking brake once. You pull back and hold. You wait for the system to beep. You'll hear it. It takes about 10 seconds. There's the beep. Really move your finger, pull it back one more time. So it's 3 steps, okay? Now the parking brake is off, correct? Watch what happens when I shut the car off. Listen. Parking brake goes on.
How about that?
Every single time you shut the car off. So think about it. Now, you never have to touch this to turn it on. You never have to touch it to turn it off. You never have to touch your parking brake button at all. It automatically does it. Once you turn it on, it'll be on until you turn it off. So it'll be on this way for 5 years. You never have to touch that button. You never have to touch it. All you have to do is worry about driving. The way to shut the automatic function off is the same way you turn it on. 3 steps. Pull back once. Pull back and hold. Wait for it to beep. It takes about 10 seconds. Release your finger, pull back one more time. Now it's off. Now if I shut the car off, it'll just won't do anything, just like it was from the factory. This parking brake trick is on all Accords except for the manual and all CRVs. All Accords except for the manual and all CRVs. It also works with the new Insight.
Too cool.
Are you familiar with how the brake hold works? Well, this is what brake hold does. You have to have your seatbelt on. With your seatbelt on, what you're going to do is you're going to press the brake hold button once, anytime throughout your drive. Beginning, middle, or end, it doesn't matter. Anytime the car's in drive, you can now take your foot off the brake and the car will hold its position. This is really good for long lights, trains, drive-thrus. When guys go through the drive-thru, when it's time for us to pay, you know what we do? We do this dance, just trying to get our money out of our pocket dance, and not take our foot off the brake. Now we can just reach in there and take our money out. You just sit and relax. When you're holding your foot on the brake, there's a lot of pressure being applied to one side of your body and not the other. That messes up your ankle, your knees, your back, your hips. After years and years of this, this will mess up your whole torso. So Honda allows you to sit and relax so your body's straight again. When you're ready to go, I'm not gonna do it because I don't know if you're out, but you just tap the gas and you go forward. Every time you stop, brake hold's reactivated. Every time you stop. The brake lights in the car are on. A lot of people don't know that. So people behind me right now think my foot's on the brake. They don't know any different. Imagine if I had to attend to a child in the back. My wife, we just bought an HRV a couple years ago. I showed her this brake hold trick and she goes, how lazy do you think I am? I can't hold my foot on the brake, are you crazy? Now she's used it, she will not even drive a car without it. Because we have a 2.5-year-old son. She's consistently going back there, picking things up, giving him food, giving him this, giving him that, and she doesn't have to worry about her foot falling off the brake anymore. She can just relax, reach back there, grab what she wants and hand it to him. She is an 11-year-old. When she drops him off at school, I don't know if you guys have kids or had kids, when you drive them into school, you drop them off, you have that little circular where the buses sit, you pull forward a little bit and you hit the brakes. Then you take the smuts off their face. You pull forward a little bit, you hit the brakes. Then you have to get their tie or tie their shoes. Now you don't have to worry about your foot sliding off the brake pedal, you just drive. It automatically stops for you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Super convenient. This center console, this is awesome. This is one of my favorite parts of the entire car, and it's something as simple as this. In most other cars, you take the center console. If you lift it up with any force, you know what's gonna happen to the center console? It's gonna slam shut again. If you take your key out of the door like this, you take your hands, you shake it side to side, you know what's gonna happen to it? It's gonna break. You see what's happening here? Nothing, it's just shaking the whole thing. This center console is made so strong that I can actually shake it side to side and it just bends the whole center console with it. So if this center console is made this strong, just this door lid, can you imagine the rest of the car? Right? This is usually the cheapest part. If you take any car, especially their own car, and you do this with it, they're gonna go, you're gonna break it right off. Not the Honda. Smart, right? Something as simple as this. What about this sliding tray? You guys know this tray slides forward and backwards? Yep. Did you know this tray is completely reversible? Yep. There's no forward or backward to it. You know what you do when you're done with this tray? You want to store it? It stores flat on the bottom. And it's contoured to fit in the front and the rear. Look at this. It's contoured perfectly. That's an engineering feat. It sits up on top and it folds flat on the bottom. It's contoured perfectly. That's an engineering feat. It sits up on top and it folds flat on the bottom. Door lock settings. Are you guys all familiar with how they set up the door locks? So at 9 miles an hour, all the door locks lock.
Yep.
You guys know you can change that.
Yep.
You can make them so they lock immediately. Settings, vehicle, go down here, the door and window setup, and then it's door lock mode. And now you can do off, vehicle speed, or shift from park. If I do shift from park, and the doors are unlocked, if I just put the car in drive, it'll lock all the doors immediately. And what about unlocking the doors? The doors will all unlock when my driver's door opens up. So if I'm dropping my kids off at school, I'm on my phone. I know I shouldn't be. Anyway, so about that game, and let me let my kids out of here. Hey kids, have a great day at school, okay? Daddy loves you. Anyway, he hit the ball so hard, I thought I was going, why are you guys still in the car? Oh, hang on, my kids are locked in this damn car again. Hang on a second. Okay, have a great day at school, kids. And that's how they start every day. Because the doors don't unlock until the driver's door physically opens, or you find this little tiny switch and press unlock. So here, there is a setting when you go to door and window setup, door unlock mode. It's set all doors when driver door opens. No. All doors when shifted to park. Now all I have to do is put the car in park, the car is stopped, all the doors open, the kids can get out, no more arguing. Make sense? And the other one is, when you reach the door, you're with your customers, you grab the driver's side door, only your door opens up, all the other doors stay locked. Your customers say, hey listen, can you let us in the car? Yep, give me 1 second, let me open up the door, let me find this little tiny door button and let me press it. Okay, everyone gets in. Not a big deal, it happens once. But now for the next 3 to 5 years, your customers will do that every single day. The lady or the guy's gonna go, hey, can you open up the door for me? Why are you letting me outside? It's pouring rain. The kid, daddy, daddy, mommy, mommy, open the door, open the door. Why don't you open the door for us? So there's this setting in here where when you grab the driver's side door, they all unlock. But most people don't know where that setting is because they look for it in door and window setup because that would make sense. It's not here at all. Where it is, it's in keyless access setup, door unlock mode, all doors safe. Now when I grab the driver's side door, they all unlock. Everyone gets in the car. Make sense? The last one for the door lock switches is how to lock the doors from the outside. So normally, you can take your key out of your purse or your pocket, which no one's ever gonna do, or you can press the button on the door. Right, you can press the button on the door. Not a big deal, except for if your hands are full. You got baby in one hand, groceries in the other, and a briefcase. You're gonna press it with your elbow? You're gonna put your baby on the ground? What are you gonna do? You're gonna set up walkaway auto lock. Walkaway auto lock has been on Hondas for the last 4 years. And we have it on every model except for the HRV, which is gonna switch for 19. So walkaway auto lock, you go to settings, go to vehicle, go to door lock settings, and then down at the bottom is walkaway auto lock. Turn that on. What's gonna happen now is I'm gonna take this key, I'm gonna put this in my pocket. Put these windows down and give you guys a little bit of air because I'm gonna leave the car for a second. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna leave the vehicle, and what's gonna happen is all the doors are gonna automatically lock when I walk away. I'm gonna shut the car off. You guys are gonna hear 2 beeps. 1 beep is me walking away. 1 beep where the door's locking. It's raining, hailing, sleeting, snowing. I walk away. I don't have to turn around, press this darn little sensor. Did it hit? Did it not hit? I don't remember. I can't really hear it. Automatically works. Nice. The only downside to this system, be very careful. All 3 of you guys are now locked in the car and the alarm's on.
Oh.
So if me and you want to go out to lunch, and you're like, listen, Jason, why don't you run inside real quick and grab me a sandwich? I'm gonna sit in the car and do some work. I wanna make sure I leave this key in the car, and when I do, the door locks won't lock. But if I don't leave the key in the car, it'll lock you in the car and set the alarm. And it's not just distance, it's time. It's 30 seconds. So if I leave you in the car and I go get gas, guess what's gonna happen? Lock all the doors and lock you in the car. So if I'm with my 11-year-old getting gas in my car, I'm gonna make sure I leave the key in there. Otherwise the door's locked, he freaks out, he goes to exit the vehicle, and the alarm goes on, he freaks out again. So I just leave the key in the car, you don't have to worry about it. But that is a feature that we have on our Honda Fit for $20,000. Toyota just got that feature. I don't think Kia has it on any of their cars, none of them. One thing you guys need to know about the door lock settings, can you read what it says on the back of that key? Driver 1, right? It says driver 1 right there. We have driver 1 and driver 2 keys. Do you guys know what driver 1 and driver 2 keys do? Door lock settings. It sets your door lock settings. Driver 1, driver 2. I love walk-away auto lock. My wife does not trust it. Driver 1, driver 2. What about putting the car in the driveway and all the doors lock? Man, I want my doors locked. I want to control it. My wife, she wants them to lock immediately. Driver 1, driver 2. What about this fancy tachometer setting I showed you? Driver 1, driver 2. So the question is, how do you set it? It's whatever key you unlock the car with. You jump in the car, you press unlock on the key fob that you want to set. You go ahead and start up the car. When you do that, it'll send a signal to the car saying you're setting driver 1 key. All your door lock settings, all your seat settings, driver 1 key. Now watch what it's going to say here. It's actually going to say driver 1 right on the screen. Watch this. Vehicle, driver 1. If I had driver 2 key, I'd shut off the car, press unlock, and it would switch to the driver 2 key. This is also on the Pilot, the CR-V, the Ridgeline, the Odyssey, everything that has driver 1 and driver 2, they're all separate key fobs. Do you guys have any idea why these are shaped this way? Why these cup holders have this funky square shape?
Oh, to keep it from things.
Have you ever tried to put a Fiji water bottle in yours?
No.
No, you know why? It don't fit. Fiji water bottles are square. Won't fit in a round one. Do you want to know what this, you know how yours have 2 holes? What's this big opening for? How about a coffee mug? Coffee mug handle goes right there.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
Coffee mug. So when in the morning you have coffee in your favorite mug. Now you take that mug coffee and you pour it into a regular cup to fit in your car. No. Bring your favorite coffee mug in your car. It fits right in that hole. It's these little tiny things that other manufacturers don't think of. And we've been looking at this for years and never knew.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
I've even done that in my Accord.
Wait,
My wife.
other manufacturers though don't think that everyone does that. Her Kia doesn't have that. And every morning she takes her favorite coffee mug, pours that coffee out into another container to bring it in the car. What sense does that make? Bring the whole thing to work with you. Someone brought this up earlier. If the key fob dies in this key fob, if the battery dies in this key fob, do you guys know how to start the car if the battery dies in the key fob? Do you know how that works? You know it works. You know how it works. Won't start. Watch this.
Nice.
How did that happen? Let me tell you. Back in 1996, the Honda Accord was the most stolen vehicle in America. In 1997, Honda came out with a new technology called the immobilizer chip. It was a little chip they put inside the key. And when you took that key and put it in the ignition and turned it, the car would read that chip's information and start the car saying it was okay to start. So you couldn't go down to Ace Hardware and buy a blank key and rip off someone's car. That immobilizer chip is still inside here. This battery takes that chip's signal and projects it from anywhere in the car to the ignition. Without that battery, just like the old days, you need to take that chip and bring it to the ignition. It's not magic, it's not magnets, it's not a little bit left of battery life. It's the same technology we've been using since 1997. This is how it works. Not just that it works, this is how it works. It's this chip inside of it, and it's not a 1 or 2 time thing. You can do it 1,000 times. All this battery is doing is just projecting that over. So inside there is a glove box, but there's also a valet button. So if you open that up, go on the left hand side, there's a button that goes up and down. You'll see it, a little switch. When you switch that, that's going to kill the power to the trunk, which means this won't open the trunk, this button won't open the trunk, that trunk button won't open the trunk. So if you valet your car, you put your wife's purse or your purse in the trunk, you put your leather jacket, gym bag in the trunk, you hand the valet this, you shut that door, you lock it with this, you keep this. Valet cannot get in your trunk. What about that trick I showed you on how to get in the trunk? You have this key, can't get in the trunk. What about if he opens that up? You have this key, can't get in the trunk. There's no way to get in the trunk. That's your lockable area. Most manufacturers don't have a valet button, and you know why? Most Kias, like most other vehicles, you can get in the trunk by lifting up the tabs in the back seat and getting right in there. There's no lockable area. There's no valet mode. We have a valet mode. If on the off chance someone breaks a window to get in your trunk or get in your car, in this car, they walk by, you're parked in the city, they break the window, you know where they can get? Inside the car. That's it. Can't get in your trunk? Nothing works, especially if you use that valet mode. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys real quick here is, did you know that this system has a hard drive built in that's used just for XM radio?
No.
There's a hard drive built in here used just for XM radio. Let me show you how it works. You go to XM radio. First, let me show you real quick. You know how many presets we have now? You see 3, right? You know how many we used to have? 12. Kia had 12 presets, FM1 and FM2. All manufacturers have 12 presets, FM1, FM2. Why does Honda only give you 3? You can stack them, but you can also add more if you want. What was happening is they were giving you 12 presets. Most people were setting up 6 or 7 in their car. So the other 5 or 6 were just factory defaults. So what they do on their steering wheel is they'd search through their presets and they'd have to search through all the ones that weren't theirs. Honda says, no, no, no. You choose the ones you want. So if you want another one, watch this. All I have to do is press and hold. I've set another preset. I go to the next page here, I press and hold. Now I have 5. I can keep going all the way up to 12, but when I go through the steering wheel controls, I only control the ones that I want, not ones that were set up as a default, because I set these up, customize them just to me. So here's the hard drive part, right? Okay, so you're listening to your favorite song, which is Let Me Love You by DJ Snake and Justin Bieber, right? You're listening to the song, and you guys don't know this, but this is George's jam. He loves this song, right? So what happens is George goes to pick up his buddies. His buddies jump in the car, and they want to tell him all about their doctor's visits. Hey, George, I just got back from the doctor, and my knee and my back, and George's like, I gotta turn down my favorite song. When they're done talking to him, now he can turn his song up, but it's over. No worries, George. All you have to do is press the back button. Watch this. Starts all over again because it's on the hard drive.
It's like a DVR.
It's like a DVR. You want to listen to it again? Watch this. Over and over and over. Not just on this station. It's on every single station that you have a preset on. Every single one, I can go back and listen to the beginning of every single song on every single preset, all the way up to 12 presets if you want.
Is there a limitation to how many times?
1 hour.
1 hour.
It's not times, it's time. It's 1 hour. And you can see it here. You can take your finger and you can scrub this back to 1 hour. As long as the car's been running. We haven't been in that car that long, so it only goes back this far.
I see.
But imagine taking a drive for half an hour, being able to go back and listen to whatever you missed on the other stations. Imagine pulling up to the McDonald's, right? You got to order. You know what you normally have to do? Turn down the volume, right, to order. No, you don't. All you have to do now, press pause. Pause is live music. Order whatever you want. When you're done, you unpause it. And boom, it's right back. I'm gonna turn you into a Honda lover, by the way. By the end of this, you're gonna go, you know what? I kind of like all this tech the Honda's got. So that's just a couple things that XM Radio can do. Have you guys ever sold a car to someone that likes sports, sports fan? Or are you guys sports fans? Do you guys know this has the technology to locate all your favorite sports teams when they're gonna play, and it'll play the game for you anywhere in the country? It's called Sports Flash. All you have to do is go to settings, go to sports notification, you pick your favorite team, so whatever sport you want, from college basketball all the way to women's college basketball. Let's just pick Major League Baseball. Give me a team.
Washington Nationals.
Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals. Now, anytime the Nationals are playing anywhere in the country, let's say they're playing the Cubs at Wrigley Field and you're in Boise, Idaho, it'll notify you. Game's on, you want to listen to the game? Yes, I do. You press the button, automatically starts playing it for you. Wow. How cool is that, right? The last thing I want to go through with you guys is, have you ever wondered what happens when you press the parking brake while you're moving? Nothing. So if it did nothing, what happens if the brakes went out and you need to use this as an emergency brake? If you just pull this back while you're moving, all it's going to do is grab the brakes and release it. If you pull back and hold it, it'll make the car come to a complete stop using all 4 wheels and the analog brakes at any speed. Pull back and hold. So if you're worried about a kid or someone going, oh, what does this button do? It won't do anything. You're not going to come to a stop. Ever wonder what happens if you push this start-stop button while you're moving? Nothing happens. You could be doing 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. You can go for this button and accidentally press this, nothing happens. But what if you need to shut the engine down? What if the driver is having a medical emergency and where's my key? How do I shut this car off if that happens? Press and hold. Press and hold, it'll kill power to the engine, but it will not lock your steering. You'll be able to steer the car still fine. You can steer it to the safe area. Cool? It's for you guys out there. I'm the Honda Pro, and now you're in the know.